Okay, welcome to this week's Fife Property update on a Sunday night. This is going to be the Fife Property market right across the whole of the market. We're going to look at all the properties getting listed by all the estate agents and all the properties getting sold in the same week. This will give us a really good indication about the health of the Fife property market overall. Because there seems to be a wee doom and gloom out there from the rest of the people. There seems to be an issue down south in terms of pricing, in terms of they think it's going to go down, and there's a bit of doom and gloom about scaremongers out there saying, oh, it's going to go down by 25, 30% in the next couple of years. Well, let's see, and we'll have a wee talk about that. Okay, straight over to the Fife property market. Let's zoom in on these figures for last week. So this is the 10th of September to the 16th September yesterday. This looks right across the market, as I said before, and easily we can see in the Cooper area, 16 actually instructed, 9 sold. So there's more supply than demand in Cooper that week. East Neuk 3 versus 2, St Andrews 11 versus 3. No surprise in St Andrews, 11 versus 3, because it has been the other way around for quite some time now. And St Andrews is a high price point, but it's a really desirable area. Levenmouth, 10 versus 12, so more demand than there's supply. Dunfermline, 15 versus 48, although I'll tell you about new builds in a minute. 11 versus 15 for Glenrothes, so demand outstripping supply, but there's a wee proviso there. Kirkcaldy 24 versus 21, which is, kind of even Stevens. Overall, 126 properties came to market right across the Fife area with all estate agents, every single one of them, according to Rightmove. And 110 were actually sold in that week last week. That gives a real good, strong indication that we still have a really good market in terms of what's coming on tends to be the same numbers that are getting sold. Now, transactional wise, that is absolutely correct. We still have a couple of adjustments, though, and I'm going to say why. In these numbers, I have stripped out in Glenrothes, for example, 13 it came on from Keep Motorhomes. So that should really be 26 versus 15. However, Keep Motorhomes puts them on, but never actually puts them as sold. So they're never registered. They're just sit there on. So it skews these numbers. And they're just one-offs because that's them putting new properties into the market. They're not putting existing properties on the market. So you really can't compare like with like. So this keeps it nice and stabilized in terms of where the numbers are. And so we can zoom in and actually give an accurate account of what's actually happening in the Fife property market. Same for Dunfermline, 5 came on with new build house builders, and Kirkcaldy 4 came on as well. So in that week past, there was 22 properties not in that figure, 126, actually came into the market, but they're new builds and they won't go as sold anywhere else. So therefore, we strip them out for that reason. So there's a good amount of new build properties getting sold or getting built in the area, which is actually good news because, we've got a restriction in supply right now in terms of rental properties, in terms of social housing, in terms of private renting sector, and also in terms of affordable housing, which is key here. So hopefully they're all priced at a good price point, so they'll be affordable for people to be in. Okay, so what does this tell us overall? Well, the state of the property market right now, we see transactional numbers still being okay. So in other words, 126 coming on, 110 actually sold. So that's really good because some of these 126 won't go into buy properties because some of them will be deceased estates. Some of them will be moving outside of the Fife area, so they'll never go into buy in this area. And some of them will actually be maybe 2 people actually moving into one property. Therefore, that will not be reflected either. So that's why it's a good number to have. So the health of the Fife property market is based on transactional numbers. Okay, so they're based on transactional numbers, which is here. You can see here what's getting instructed and what's getting sold. So the health of the property market is transactional numbers. That's the most important thing. Secondary to that is the actual price they're getting sold for. Now, let me just tell you about that. We've done a bit of analysis again, and there's no surprise. Everything up to round about the 250 to 300,000 is selling quite well in an appropriate amount of time. In other words, 2 or 3 weeks. Some of them are selling a lot quicker than that. And we are still selling, once in a blue moon, properties from social media before they've even made it to our website for an offer the seller can't refuse. Equally as well, properties for the right type of properties, for example, I'll show you right now, and we'll just zoom in on this and show you the numbers, and I'll show you the right type of properties here. Here's the right type of property. It's sold in 12 days. This was on at 400,000, offers over in Buckhaven. This was St David's Manse. Now, according to the surveyors, there's never a property in Buckhaven reached the 400,000 price point ever. So we've broken a ceiling and broken a record in the Buckhaven area with this one, over 400,000 for this one. That's where they were. That's where it was priced at. So it is now sold in 12 days. So see what I mean? If the right properties come on, people will still go for them. What does that tell you about the existing properties? If you've still got your house in the market and it's at a higher price point, you're going to have to realign it more than likely, because I bet your bottom dollar most estate agents will have the right systems in place. They will be selling other properties round about you all the time, and yours might be sticking as a result. Therefore, you're going to have to really consider about realigning the price point. Now, most estate agents will come across and say you need to drop your price. But that's not what you're meant to be doing here. You're meant to be realigning the price to get an entry point where a new set of audience will come in at that price point. In other words, lower it down a bit, your entry point. So therefore, you introduce it to a new set, and then the new set comes along and they look at it, and they generally have just a wee bit more to spend than they're actually looking for. Most people do about 10% more than what they actually look for in terms of their budget. So if you've got something on at 400, 500,000, and you're saying, well, it's not actually moving, and you've had it on for about 6 or 7 months, then now's the time to actually realign. Now, a 2% or more alignment will actually release a whole new release to Rightmove and prime location and Zoopla. If you do a drop of under 2%, in other words, if you're at 500,000 and you don't decrease it by 10,000 or more, in other words, you only put it down £5,000, no one will see that. It won't be registered anywhere. It'll just register as a 5,000 drop. There'll be no new release of emails out from Rightmove's database, out from Zoopla's database as a result, because they need a 2% drop or more for them to release that. That's how their systems work. So that's what I'm saying to you. And make sure you straddle a 10,000 barrier, a 10,000 price point when you realign your price, if that's what you're going to be doing. Make sure you straddle that, or you straddle the price point is on the on for example on the websites. I'll probably show you an example of that. Let me just show you, and I'll stop the screen here for that one, and I'll then bring in another screen here. I'll tell you about what I mean about price points. Let's bring in Rightmove, because Rightmove's a popular website. No, actually, let's bring in Zoopla, because this is the one that we'll be able to see the health first when we go into that. So we'll bring in Zoopla. I'm just getting that up on the screen right now. There's Zoopla. Let's just make that a wee bit weird so I can see what I'm doing and we can see what's going on. Let's just share that screen for Zoopla. Zoopla. Here we go. So here's Zoopla. Okay, so we've got Zoopla here, and we're looking for the search criteria. So we're looking in Fife, for example. So we'll just go Fife and we'll do search. Now, here's Fife, for example, the search. Now, notice there's 950 properties on the market. That gives you a good indication about supply and demand as well. And then we look at price points. Can you see the price points in here? We've got price points in here. I will show you. Hopefully, I can just go onto the next screen and just see what's going on here in terms of the numbers. Yeah, you can see that as well. And then if you look at any price point and you look at the maximum, see how it's in 10,000 bandings going all the way up there. It goes up in 10,000 bandings going all the way up, and then it gets to 250, and then it starts to jump to 275 to 300 to 325. To 350 to 375 to 400 to 425 to 450 to 475 to 500 to 550 to 600. Now, if you're close to any of these, say for example you're on, I know, 575. If your property's on at 575 right now, you're only going to get seen with people with a price point of up to 600,000. If anybody looks at up to 600,000 onwards, they'll never see yours. So, for example, if you're at 575 and you're thinking about a realignment, my suggestion is you go for 550 right there, because this 550 here will ensure that you will appear in every search up to 550, and you will appear in every search from 550. So you'll not miss any buyers as a result. Everybody will see your property at some point in time. Now, up to the 550, it'll be the top end of the price point, and down from 550 upwards, it will be the lower end of the price point for the person viewing, and 550 upwards. But you'll still get seen by both parties, and that's the key here. in terms of how you do your pricing. It seems like it's a big jump, but the reality is the people that are in the marketplace to buy your property will be at that price point anyway, and they will see the home report and they will push it back up. The key here is to not allow your estate agent to get it into their head that you've just dropped your price. You've only realigned your price to introduce it to a new audience. So you don't allow your estate agent to get it into their head that you're giving £25,000 off when you're not. You're introducing it to people that are up to that price point, and they will be able to possibly just get a bit more in order to get to that home report value, or maybe just a bit above it. This has happened all the time for us. That's a very successful strategy. It's happened time and time again. Okay, so if you're not sure about that strategy and what I just spoke about right there, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I have to realign, and I'm not really sure what that was and how that was said, then by all means message us, and we'll go over it with you in detail, and we'll let you understand exactly what that means. However, you can watch it back and just watch it over and over and over until you actually get it, because that's what I do, how I learn. I just continually watch it over and over again till I actually get it right in my head, the sequence of events in order to make that happen and what the person's saying. And also, as well as if I'm reading a book, I'll read it again and again and again and again till I get it into my head and understand the sequence of events of how that happens. That is how to be successful in your pricing strategy and to introduce it to a new audience and actually get your property actually some activity on it. That is key here. And I say that to everybody, no matter what stage you're on with. But I remember it's what I said. Do not let your estate agent get it into your head, into their head, that you're dropping your price. You're not dropping your price. You're realigning the entry point, the marketing position, in order to attract another buyer in a different category just below, in order for them to increase it. Plus the fact as well, Rightmove and Zoopla and Prime Location will release new emails, and possibly they will release new emails to new buyers in the marketplace. Not every buyer's maybe seen your property already, but there will be now when that email is released again to them, because it's more than a 2% reduction in terms of the entry point, the marketing position. Okay, let's jump back to the what's been sold. Right, okay, I'd spoken about this, and we talked about immediately. I talked about St David's house. First time a house, according to the surveyor, a house in Buckhaven has actually gone 400,000 price point, and it's actually sold. So that's a record that we've just set for the Buckhaven area. The next one actually we sold just next door to it. The development at Randolph Street in Buckhaven sold in 13 days. Development opportunity. This was the land with the house on it. It had, I think it was 2A and 2B on there. You can see that's a derelict house. It was a huge bit of land, great development opportunity, and that is away as well. That was away for 70,000 offers over. So that's gone beyond that as well. Next one, another high price point, as I can say. Look, away in 3 weeks. 21 days, Nethergate and Crail, sold in 3 weeks, a 3-bedroom detached house. It was on offers over 550,000. And it's away. 2 other people missed out on this. Offers over 550,000 and 2 other people missed out. What does that tell you? There's buyers out there at that price point looking for properties. Could yours be the one? Contact us now, definitely. I think it's a lot to do with good marketing, though, and clever marketing, clever strategy. Because everybody seemed to have liked that video I did for it. I think I was a bit excited when I did that one, as I am with most houses, actually. Okay, so what's coming soon? Let me tell you what's coming soon. Sycamore Avenue in Methil. Perry's just actually done that pre-portal, 3-bedroom mid-terrace house. The next one, Elm Grove in St Monans. That's a 4-bedroom semi-detached house. That I've just put that on pre-portal. 4-bedroom semi-detached house. It's a cracker, and it's a 2 reception as well, and it's got a brilliant back garden, and it's got the timber garage with the driveway and off-street parking, and it looks over the countryside as well, over the fields. Fantastic. It's a great price point as well. You need it. It's a perfect family home for somebody wanting East Nook. Fordale Road in Glenrothes, 3-bedroom mid-terrace house is coming on. Cashviews in Strathmidlo, 2-bedroom detached house. Bonnygate in Cooper, a 3-bedroom maisonette is coming on. Forth View in New Gilson, 1-bedroom semi-detached cottage coming on. Lundy View in Leavin, that'll be Lundy View in Leavin. This is a beauty of a house. This is a 3-bedroom detached house. I have been round it, signed it up, and it's going on this week. Lundy View in Leven, one of the most desirable areas in Leven for people to live. West End and Star, 3-bedroom detached cottages coming on. Graham Crescent in Leven, a 2-bedroom end terraced house is coming on as well. If any of these properties, you like the sound of these completely, and you want to know just a bit more when we've got it available to you quicker than anybody else, because remember, we're still selling them in record time sometimes, then message us direct on this post with your contact details. Make sure you're registered. Even though you think, oh yeah, I'm registered, I phoned them up last week and I did this and did that and all the rest of it, I would just double check. I never leave anything to chance. That's why I get all the good deals. That's why I'm an investor, a property investor for 30 years. And that's why I always get a good deal every single time, because I follow that mantra: discipline, consistency, and application. That's the key here to get the home of your dreams, to get that next step on the ladder for you. Completed over the line, keys handed over. Give you a rough idea: Eskin Street in Buckhaven, a 1-bedroom ground floor flat, sold in 1 month when it went on the market. The home is now completed, just went on for under home report value at 46,000, a 1-bedroom flat in Eskin Street in Buckhaven. And the new owners were delighted to move into the area for the first time. Let's talk about let's just finish off with some of this stuff. Empty promises, not the story of my life. This has nothing to do with it. Empty promises, I'll say what it is. Turn a vacant spell into a brighter future if you're in buy to let. In other words, do you know what happens in between when you're a buy to let investor or you get a property for the first time and you've got this void, in other words, an empty property for a certain period of time? I did a show with Richard yesterday, and a podcast yesterday with Richard as well, Richard Cook, our lettings director, and I talked about all the key strategies in order to maximize that opportunity when that property is empty, in order to enhance your margins and enhance your profit on your buy-to-let property, and actually get the best deals out of it in the best appropriate time. So that was in there yesterday. It's on this post. Click on the link. You'll go through to the main post and it'll give you the podcast. It'll also give you the show as well. If you're a buy-to-let landlord, you want to learn how to do strategies when your properties are actually empty in order to maximize that. And it's actually, when properties are empty, people look at it as being quite negative, whereas I'm like, yeah, there's an opportunity to add value straight away. I'll give you an example. I spent 22,000 on an empty property, refurbing it, and I've increased the rent by £200 every single month. That's 2,400 extra a year. That's a 22,000 investment. That's an 11% return on my capital that I've just invested. And it's still at a great price point for somebody to rent, and they're actually moving in now. That's how you do it. That's how to do strategy in buy-to-let and investors. So if you're an investor and you need to know more about that, look at that post and watch that post. If you're thinking about buy-to-let, it's still a fantastic market, regardless of what anybody says, then that is the show for you. Listen to the podcast. Perry and I actually did a show during the week as well. If you want to understand Fife's property market, the hidden perils of overpricing for a home, and Fife's cooling market, exactly what I spoke about at the beginning of this, Fife's cooling market, this is the show for you. It's on this link again. We did it during the week. If you're thinking about selling your home in Fife, there's new data reveals it's more crucial than ever to price your property correctly. With the housing market at its lowest growth rate since 2012 and high mortgage rates affecting demand, overpricing your Fife home could spell disaster, leading to fewer views, longer time on the market, and even a stigmatization of your property so it doesn't sell. So dive into this article and this show and this podcast as well. And this will give you all the tidbits and all the key indicators and the key advice you need to know about how to combat the Fife property market and how to come out smelling the roses when you put your house on and get the best deals every single time. And that's it. That's the two shows that are we've done during the week. A couple of things to watch out for. Wealth creation show tomorrow. I'm doing with Richard. I'm going to be talking about cash flow is king. Script is all written up, all the ideas, and we'll be on the wealth creation show tomorrow at 12:30, talking about how important cash flow is to everything you do, whether it's buy-to-let investment, whether you've got a business, whether you've got a household, and you've got to run a budget. Cash flow is the most important thing. Profit is vanity. No. Turnover, in other words, sales is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is the king. That's an accountant for you. every single time. I used to run by that mantra every single time. Manufacturing for credit control when I was collecting millions of pounds every single month from contractors, and when we're doing PFIs, all the school refits with the local authorities. And the key is here is in order to make sure you maximise the opportunities for the cash flow, and cash flow is king, in order to get the right circumstances for you. And whether you're in business, whether you're in buy-to-let property investment, whether you're actually having a household budget, and how all these strategies will bring together and give you the best opportunities, especially in this current climate. So watch out for that live show tomorrow on TikTok, Instagram, my private page, my public page, my private page for social media, our YouTube channel, our Twitter channel, in all the different formats and all the different platforms. Tune into it. The YouTube channel is probably the most important one because you'll get, it'll be easy to use because some people aren't on social media at all. So YouTube's an easy one for them to use. Or you can use my public profile or my personal profile, which is just Jim Parker. You'll find me on both of them anyway. Okay, this week as well, just to finalise and finish off, if you are unsure about the Fife property market, Perry and I will be talking about the market pulse for the Fife property market. We'll be deciphering the latter half of 2023 and exactly what is going to happen. I'll give you a sneak peek. Look at the graph. No, you're not getting to see it. Wait till the show. Wait till the show on Wednesday. So that's going to be on Wednesday. I think it's around about 11 or 12 o'clock. But we do have a broadcast on here. So if you can see it on our page, just click on the link, tell us you're going, and you'll be able to see it. But you will go live. If you follow our pages, as soon as we go live, you'll get a notification if you're following our pages when we go live, and we will be talking about the stepping into the world of the property market is akin to stepping into a rhythm. The beats of buying and selling, supply and demand from the underlying tempo. Fife, a country rich in history and character, is no exception to this. As we venture into the last quarter of 2023, it's crucial to understand the current property market's tempo and how it might influence your property decisions. That's going to be on Wednesday. Watch out for that. We're going live, Perry and I. And until next time, guys, again, as I said, if you've got any further questions about the Fife property market, or you need more advice on what you're doing and buying and selling, even if you're buying or selling, if you're a landlord, if you're a tenant, whatever it is, we can help you. We have a lot of years of experience, especially me, about over 30. Anyway, until next time, guys, as you say, signing off, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now.